Hey guys, welcome back. So today I want to talk about the Walther PPQ. Now the Walther PPQ, the one that I have here anyway, is a 9mm pistol that was introduced at the SHOT Show in 2011. So it's a relatively new product on the market. Now it's also available in .40 Smith & Wesson. But again, this is a 9mm pistol. So let's talk about some of the features of the Walther PPQ. Now first off, you'll probably notice that it bears more than a passing resemblance to the Walther P99. While it looks very similar to the Walther P99, it is not the same handgun. They are not to be confused. There are some key differences between the pistol. The trigger mechanism is completely different. It's missing the decocker button of the Walther P99. And again, internally it's been completely re-engineered, so it's not the same pistol. However, it does maintain the Walther P99's ergonomics. This pistol feels very, very good in the hand. It's probably one of the most ergonomic pistols I've felt. It's right up there with pistols like the HKP30, a very similar feel. It's also a very natural pointer. So let's talk about some of the other features of the Walther PPQ. Now the 9mm version has a 15-shot magazine. And it's a windowed magazine, and it is a steel magazine, and it has this orange follower. The pistol has a polymer frame with adjustable back straps, or replaceable back straps. They're not really adjustable. The user can pop these back straps out and replace them with one of three that the pistol ships with. The pistol also has ambidextrous controls. It has an ambidextrous slide lock and slide release that you can see the lever here on the right side of the pistol, and again you can see it here on the left side of the pistol. It also has an ambidextrous magazine release. And the magazine release is a little bit different than what you're probably used to. You don't have a button that you push in. It's a lever that you push down. Now I have big hands. I have long fingers. I'm holding the pistol in a traditional firing grip. I have a hard time, actually I simply can't reach the magazine release without rotating the gun in my hand to turn the pistol and release the magazine. Now another thing that you can do, because the lever exists on both sides of the trigger guard, you can use your index finger to release the magazine. Here I am releasing it with my thumb. I rotate the gun in my hand and drop the magazine out. It's a very narrow lever. And then here I am releasing it with my index finger. Okay, so you have two different ways that you can actually release the magazine, but neither will feel very comfortable to you if you're used to the standard push button magazine release. Now the pistol has a Glock style trigger. By that I mean it has what I like to call a dingus on the trigger. It has that little lever inside the trigger that requires you to get your finger completely on the trigger to disengage that particular safety. If you hit the trigger ever so slightly from the side, it locks that trigger and it can't be pulled. Another feature is it has a 1913 style rail. And it has two T-slots that are full, and then actually three T-slots that are full here on the bottom. The pistol also has 3-dot sights, and the rear sight is adjustable for windage. The front sight is not adjustable for elevation. The pistol also has, on its steel slide, it has serrations both front and rear. Very sharp serrations. It's very easy to get a hold of the pistol from either the front or the rear part of the handgun. Now again, the slide release can be actuated from either side of the pistol. And one of the things I like about the slide releases are the fact that they're very narrow. They don't stick out, they're not obtrusive, so when you're firing the handgun, you don't have a problem with false locks or not having the slide lock open because you're actually touching it with your thumb and preventing the slide lock mechanism from working. Let's take a look inside the box and see what the PPQ ships with. First of all, the handgun comes in this branded plastic handgun case. Inside you will find a lock, a spent casing which is required by law in some states, two additional back straps, which again you can replace yourself, and a second steel magazine with a magazine loader. So it comes with two 15-round magazines for the 9mm. Now one of the other things I want to mention about the pistol is the fact that it has a very short, light, crisp trigger pull with a very short reset on the trigger. Now the trigger, let's make the weapon safe. The trigger has some take up, but once you get it to the point where it's about ready to fire, very light release. Some over travel, but a very light release. I've measured it with my RCBS trigger scale. I've measured it to be just a little over 5 pounds. Now, the other feature that's really unique about this handgun is the fact that it has about a 1/10 of an inch trigger reset. So when you fire the pistol, cock it, and let the trigger out, you'll hear it click and bang. Very, very short reset. It's kind of hard to show you what that reset's like in video, but trust me when I say that it's a very short reset. It doesn't feel like any other trigger I've fired. It's probably, the texture of the trigger is very much like the Glock trigger because of that dingus. It's a little bit more contoured and it would feel familiar to you. Now the reach on the trigger is somewhat short. You'll notice with my big hands, I can easily hook my finger around the trigger. And when it comes all the way to the rear, you can see I'm using the pad of my finger to pull the trigger. It's just a little bit short on the reach department for my hand, but it's still comfortable and easy to shoot. Let's take a look at the pistol being disassembled. Disassembling the Walther PPQ is very simple and straightforward. To disassemble the pistol, you will first drop the magazine out of the pistol, pull the slide to the rear, and inspect the chamber to make sure that the pistol is safe. Go ahead and release the slide, let it run forward. Now the next step is to actually dry fire the pistol. You'll want to point the weapon in a safe direction and release the striker. Now you have a disassembly lever right here, and you can see it on both sides of the pistol. You'll slightly pull the slide to the rear. I grasp the pistol like this and pull down on the disassembly lever. The pistol will then come apart simply by pushing the slide off the frame. Inside the pistol you have your recoil spring, which just comes out very easily by lifting it out, and then your barrel, which again, you just push forward slightly, grab it, and pull it out. That's all that's required for basic field stripping the Walther PPQ. To reassemble, you simply reverse the process. Take the barrel, put it in the slide, take the recoil spring, put the bright blue end towards the rear, put the slide on the frame, and draw the pistol to the rear, and it will lock itself on the frame, and then you would function check. Okay, so you guys have seen just how simple and straightforward disassembly of the PPQ is. Also, I would like to mention that the handgun is actually manufactured in Germany by Walther. The importer is Smith & Wesson, but it does bear all of the German proof marks, and it is assembled and manufactured in Germany. The fit and finish of the handgun is very nice. The slide appears to be something of a parkerization type finish, although it's finer than a park, it's kind of hard to identify. And again, the bottom or the lower half, the receiver of the pistol, is actually made of polymer and actually has a very textured grip. So anyway, I do want to get this pistol out to the range next and show you guys how this weapon handles. So let's do that now. Let's head out to the range. Okay guys, we're out at the range. We're going to take the Walther PPQ, which I have here, and we're going to fire some different flavors of ammunition out of it. First off, we're going to try some PMC 115 grain ball. Then we'll try some Winchester 115 grain jacketed hollow points. And then finally, we'll put some of my current defensive ammunition through it, which is 147 grain gold dots. So let's get started. Okay, first up is the PMC 115 grain ball ammo. I'm going to put 15 rounds of this through the PPQ. Okay, next up is the Winchester Ranger. This is 115 grain jacketed hollow points. All right, next up is the Gold Dot 147 grain jacketed hollow points. 15 rounds. Again, perfect reliability. Here's a 10-shot group I just fired with the Walther PPQ, and we're looking at about a 1-inch diameter group in dead center. The factory sights are set perfectly, at least in this example of the handgun. I was using 115 grain PMC ball ammunition, and again firing from 15 yards. Now I attribute this really good accuracy to a couple of factors. First of all, the ergonomics of the pistol are incredible. The grip just feels perfect in the hand, and it's very much a natural pointing handgun. Next up, the 3-dot sights. Nice, sharp sights. And finally, the trigger. The trigger is absolutely incredible. It's not like any other handgun that I own, in the striker fired category, of course. It is a light, crisp, and a very short reset trigger. I know I've mentioned that several times, but it's definitely worth repeating. This handgun has probably the best trigger I've ever used in a polymer framed handgun. Anyway, let's head back to the Jeep and give you some final thoughts. Okay guys, some final thoughts on the Walther PPQ. The Walther PPQ is a pistol that you can purchase for around $600 depending on where you buy it. Now I did purchase this handgun from my local firearms dealer. That firearms dealer is Blythe's Sports, located in Valparaiso, Indiana. You can contact them if you would like a fair price on a Walther PPQ at the email address below. The Walther PPQ has some pretty stiff competition in the marketplace. You have the Smith & Wesson M&Ps, you have the XT pistols, you have the Glocks, so it's coming in with a lot of competition. However, it offers one thing that I like above all others, and that is the trigger. Now, there are some things I don't like about the pistol, actually one thing that I can think of, and that is the magazine release. I'm not a fan of that particular magazine release. I do prefer a push-button release. But if you can get around that, it's a tough pistol to beat, especially for the price. It is priced competitively against the competition. Perhaps just a little bit more expensive, but not too much so. It is made by Walther of Germany. Walther is an old name in firearms manufacturing and a well-respected name. Speaking of size, here it is next to a Glock 19. So you can see that it's about the same size as a Glock 19. So it would make a great defensive carry pistol. The only thing that might make it not so great as a defensive carry pistol is that light trigger. But if you can get used to that and learn to keep your finger off the trigger until you're ready to shoot, it shouldn't be a problem. Overall, I would say it's a very favorable handgun. I would recommend that you take a look at the Walther PPQ if you're looking for a polymer framed striker fired pistol, either for self-defense or, given the accuracy, even range work. It's a very capable handgun. If you have any questions about the Walther PPQ, please stop by our Facebook page. You can find us on Facebook at www.facebook.com/military arms. As always, everybody, thanks for watching, and we'll talk to you guys soon.